With the new Battles of Legends set on the horizon, there was one cool deck that I wanted to go over before I moved on to DUAD. You might notice that I'm holding off on the Punk stuff and potentially the Necro stuff because I just don't want to show another Mitsurugi deck profile that other people have already done and whatnot. But we're going to start here with just the Ground Xeno, and the cool thing about this is that now this becomes a sub-engine that you can potentially play if you want to have a Dark Hole plus Heavy Storm, and you'll see what I mean by that as we're going to destroy our first new card off of the Ground Xeno, Jurac Megalo. It's a level 1 Dinosaur tuner that reads, if you control the Dinosaur monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can discard 2 cards, including a Jurac card, then draw 2 cards. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send 1 Jurac monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, except Megalo. You can only use each effect of Megalo once per turn. Now we're going to get that effect off of its destruction so that we can send our second new card. This is the Jurac Astero. It takes 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner dinosaur monsters and reads, if this card is synchro summoned, you can set 1 Jurac spell trap from your deck or graveyard. Once per turn, when your opponent special summons a monster's quick effect, you can banish 2 dinosaur monsters from your graveyard, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy those monsters. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish 2 Jurac monsters from your graveyard, including this card, special summon 1 Jurac meteor from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon, so this is a really solid effect, and you'll notice that there are a couple of fire monsters, so as long as Crow isn't in the format, and maybe Bestials are, this is something that can play around it. This can be sort of like a Dark Hole plus Heavy Storm as we banish our Astero plus the Megalo for the effect of Astero, and we're going to bring out our Meteor. Meteor reads, when this card is synchro summoned, destroy all cards on the field. Then you can special summon 1 tuner from your graveyard. Now, unfortunately, because we only have the Ground Xeno, and assuming that you're just playing this as a sub-engine for the removal, then you wouldn't have a tuner, depending on the deck, I guess. But we're going to end up using the effect of Meteor here, and I would also like to show that it counts itself. It says destroy all cards in the field, not other. Now, we're going to be starting this next combo with Oviraptor, as we're going to start by normal summoning it, then use its effect in order to get our Miscellaneousaurus, so that the Miscellaneousaurus can make our dinosaurs unaffected during the main phase, which, again, won't really matter at this point in time because we've already used the Ovi. We're just going to get our Megalo, and the only thing I'm showing here is that now we can go for our Denglong. We then have the 1 card 9 pillars without even really playing a brick like Jurac, Iolo, or however you pronounce that, but anyways, with this, I'll take you on to the next combo. Now, for this next one, I wanted to show Ground Xeno and Oviraptor. A little bit redundant, but there is a reason for it, and we're going to start here by normal summoning the Ovi as we're going to get ourselves the Misk, and then we're going to use the effect of Misk, making the Ovi and our dinosaurs unaffected during the main phase, bring out our Megalo off of the Oviraptor again as we're just going to go into our Denglong. From here we can use the effect of Denglong to get our 9 pillars, activate the Ground Xeno. From here we'll then be able to pop the Megalo that we add to our hand so that we can use the Megalo in our graveyard to send the Astero. And the important thing about this is that if you end up having to use the pop of Astero, or the destruction effect rather, in order to destroy everything, then at least you can get a replacement body, though it does mean that you will lose the 9 pillars if you haven't used that yet. If you play a bigger Yang Zing package, there's potentially things that can still be done, though the real thing that we're trying to get here is obviously the negation of the 9 pillars, potentially get another body off of Denglong if you are playing a Yang Zing package, and then you'll have the pops off of Astero. This is a field spell. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 dinosaur monster you control, and if you do, special summon 1 Jurac monster from your deck. If your opponent special summons a monster and they activated monster effects 4 or more times this turn, you can special summon 1 Jurac meteor from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. So that alone is actually really strong because it just means that if your opponent ends up going off on their monster effects at any point during the turn, you can use this as a disruption. So similar to Ground Xeno, if you want to shove this into something else just for that, then while a little bit on the slower side, there is somewhat potential, but if a Jurac monsters you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish 1 dinosaur monster from your graveyard instead, and you can only use each effect of Volcano once per turn. Now, something I love about this card is we've always said pop the baby in the TCG because of popping the baby Cerosaurus with the diagram and stuff, but now we have a field spell with a gigantic explosion explosion to really destroy the baby with. But we're going to start here by activating the field spell. We'll then be able to normal summon the baby, use the effect of the field spell in order to pop the baby to get ourselves our final new card this time around, the Jurac Diggo. It's a level 4 dinosaur that reads, during your main phase, you can destroy one card you control, and if you do, send one dinosaur monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then you can special summon Jurac monsters from your hand or deck whose total levels equal the monster's level, except Diggo, ignoring their summoning conditions. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except dinosaur monsters. You can only use this effect of Jurac Diggo once per turn. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can return one face-up card onto the field. Now, we're going to continue here by using the effect of Baby in order to special summon out the Oviraptor. Use the effect of Oviraptor in order to get ourselves the Misk. We'll then be able to use the effect of Misk, as we'll then be able to use the Misk. Now we're going to special summon out the copy of Megalo. From here, we'll then be able to use the effect of Ovi to pop the Megalo and revive the baby. Then we'll be able to use the effect of Megalo in order to send away the Astero. We'll then be able to use the effect of our Stigo. And keep in mind that this is kind of a jankier combo, sort of. It will be very situational, but I still want to show that the deck has the ability to do something like this, while also showing that new cards that we get can dramatically change what this combo looks like in terms of what its end board is. So we're going to get our Megalo, use the effect of Baby in order to bring out another copy of Ovi, and now we have access into the Grenosaurus, which again, say that your opponent has something that needs to be destroyed twice, like that one armored XYZ monster where you have to destroy it the first time, and then the second time the equip card comes off and then you can destroy it. But essentially you get to pop off Astero, everything gets destroyed, and then on a new chain link, if this Exceed Summon card is destroyed, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. So again, it's not really that great, but I just wanted to show that there is still stuff that you can kind of do. And again, this isn't a great one either. The Jurac Velveto, it literally does nothing. The best use that it has is attacking over Ash Blossoms and Drolls that your opponent sets because they bricked. So I just wanted to show it because it's a line of play that exists. We just don't have the great end board monsters needed to really make this a force. Now for this next one, we have the Jurac Volcano alongside the Jurac Megalo, and we're going to start here by activating the Jurac Volcano, normal summon the Megalo, use the effect of the Volcano, which will pop the Megalo to bring out the Stigo, use the effect of the Megalo in order to send away the Astro, then we can use the effect of Stigo, popping itself in order to send away the Misk, use the effect of Misk, which will then be able to bring out a baby, and now the entire point of this is just to have Astero, plus some follow-up, as we're going to get another copy of Petite or Baby, whatever you want to get here, as we're going to go on to our opponent's turn. From here, at any point that you want to use the Astero, you can bring out the Meteor, and then at that point, you can get yourself the copy of Oviraptor off of the Petite. As you see, all our cards get destroyed here, and then we're going to be able to use the effect of Oviraptor, add another copy of Oviraptor so that we have some follow-up. Now, as you saw, the field spell did go to the graveyard when we brought out the Meteor, which means that unfortunately we can't get a double board wipe off of the Astero in the graveyard and then the Jurac Volcano, so that is important to point out. That said, it still is a board wipe with some follow-up that you can get. Now, for the penultimate combo, we have the Ground Xeno plus the Baby Cerosaurus, and we're going to start this one by activating the Ground Xeno, getting ourselves the Jurac Megalo. We're going to then get the effect of the Baby Cerosaurus in order to special summon out the Ovi, use the effect of Ovi in order to get ourselves the Misk. From here, we can then activate the copy of Misk, as we'll then be able to normal summon the Jurac Megalo, use the effect of Oviraptor in order to pop the Megalo and revive the Baby Cerosaurus, sending away the Astero with the Megalo, as now we're going to use the effect of Misk, bring out a copy of Megalo so that we can go into our Denglong. From here, we'll then be able to get ourselves the Counter Trap, and then from here, we can go into a copy of the Underworld Goddess. And I had to show this at least once because there's going to be times where maybe you have that extra body, the one extender for Denglong that you can link away with so that your 9 pillars isn't dead. And now we just have access to full Fiend Smith combo alongside the 9 pillars off of the Ground Xeno plus the Baby, which is a much different combo than all the other ones that I've showed. But again, it's been trying to avoid using the Fiend Smith stuff because if not, it would have just been a Fiend Smith video. And coming off the Fabled video, I didn't think that would have been a good idea. Now, for this next combo, we have the Diagram plus the Baby and the Jurac Megalo. Now, this is a combo that is meant for if Diagram comes back to 3. Otherwise, there's really no point in playing this right now, but we're going to pop the Baby in order to get ourselves the True King I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's the fire one. We're then going to get another copy of Baby, as now we can use the True King from hand, destroying the Megalo and the Baby. The Baby will be a mandatory Chainlink 1. Jurac Megalo will be Chainlink 2. Get ourselves the copy of Ovi, as we can then use the effect of Ovi in order to get ourselves a copy of Misk. You'll see that we also have the Astero, the graveyard off of the Megalo. But now we're going to activate the Misk, as we're going to use the effect of Misk in the graveyard in order to bring out another copy of Baby so that we can pop it with the Ovi, and then we'll be able to revive the copy of Megalo, as we'll then be able to use the effect of Baby again in order to get ourselves another level 4, which we can then go into Denglong, use the effect of Denglong here. And I would like to point out that you didn't have to go into Denglong. You technically could have gone straight into Trishula, ripped a card out of your opponent's hand, and then go into the rank 9 that we'll go into momentarily. But I also wanted to show that this was an option as well, as you don't need to rip a card. You can also have the Yang Zing 9 pillars that can trade a card with your opponent, essentially being a card that you rip from their hand. But we're then going to be able to get ourselves the Fire, or the Swanee, I think it's called, as we also have the Vermilion on board so that we can go into our rank 9. And now you'll see that we have the Banish from hand, we have the 9 pillars, and we can pass to our opponent on this. So with all of the combos out of the way, we can get onto the deck profile, and you'll see that there's a ton of options that we could have played. I'm choosing to play this just because it is a level 5 Jurac that we can go into. I know that it's not the best thing, but just having the ability to get those high attack points and combos could just mean the extra difference in game. Then we're also playing the Fiend Smith package, which again is going to take up most of your slots. I wanted to continue playing the IP plus SP, or not put any other extra deck monsters into these slots, just because the IP makes things indestructible, and having the Astero popping everything on the field, it's nice if you can keep your SP. But then we also have the Grenosaurus, which again is meant to pair with your Astero, even if it's not really the best thing. The Meteor and the Astero can be something that you choose to play one or two of each, but because it is a Dinosaur deck, I felt that maybe playing the 2-2 was better off. Onto the options, there's stuff like the Evo Pills, Tyranno, and Coatless. I wanted to take these out because I wanted to show how now you can interrupt your opponent without needing the bricks in hand, and maybe you can now play a more consistent build of Dinosaurs where you have a bunch of searchers and combo pieces, but that doesn't come without its drawbacks, because one thing that you'll notice is that you need stuff like Jurac Volcano plus the Baby, or you maybe need the Ground Dino plus Ovi, or even the Baby in order to really get a full board. So a lot of what this deck relies on is 2-card combos, and because we're in a format where 1-card combos are so important, it's unfortunately a little bit slow right now. That said, I do think in formats where we can play with more than 1 card as a realistic option, where it's not just draw half of your deck being hand traps and combo with 1 card, then maybe this deck has a chance, especially since you would be able to remove some of this non-engine and then maybe play some more engine. With all of that out of the way, I have nothing else to say, as well. I guess I do have the Lagio and Dolka in the side deck here as options, which might be kind of weird for a Dinosaur deck. Same with these. It's just because we're really tight on extra deck space because of the 4 copies of the Jurac stuff. We then have the Fiend Smith package, the IP, the mask. So it's really tricky to build a list out of this if you do want to maximize on seeing the Meteor, Astero. Again, you can play 1 of each, but it's just I don't think it's enough if you're actually maxing out on the package as a Dino deck would. But anyways, we have the 3 Ovi, the 3 Baby, the 3 copies of Jurac Megalo, the 1 copy of Petite, the 1 copy of Stigo, the 1 copy of Misk. We then have the 1 Terraforming, the 1 Talents, the 1 Thrust, the 3 Ground Dino, the 3 copies of Jurac Volcano, the 3 copies of Fossil Dig. Then we have the Fiend Smith. We then have the 1 copy of Lacrima, the 1 copy of Swanee, the 1 copy of 9 Pillars. We then have the 3 Impulse, the 3 Imperm, the 3 copies of Droll, and the 3 copies of Ash to round out the main deck. Onto the extra deck, we have the Moon, the SP, the IP. We then have the Sequentia, Requiem. We then have the Caesar, the 1 copy of Greno, the 2 copies of Meteor, the 2 copies of Astero, the 1 copy of Velveto, or Velveeta, whatever it's called. We then have the 1 copy of Denglong, the 1 copy of the Smith Desiree, 1 copy of Necroquip to round out the extra deck. For anyone who made it this far into the video, I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. It's Bones, signing out.